Man, talking about goals, I'm getting keen.
Goals.
Goals. Oh, yeah. Okay. Chat is up. And that is live. So I'm hoping this is going through. And I'll just have to click on here to make sure. Hey. Yep. Speaking of yours, one.
Testing. 1, 2.
Oh, yeah, I can hear. What should be our chat question for today?
Maybe ask something along the lines of, has anyone got any annual goals that they want to share?
Okay. Yeah, annual goals they want to share, or what they're thinking about for the next year, I suppose. Okay, I got that. Posting that onto here. Post this on Twitter. Do you mind just posting onto our group chat? Just see if Joey is keen.
Yep, can do.
What else do I need? The Twitter one is done. It's over here. Ah, yes. Write the actual question, Kyrin. Question time. What do you have any goals in mind for the coming year? Question mark. And I'll let my brother know. Man, you will not believe the workout I had today.
Was it good?
Holy boy.
Good workout? A long workout?
Yeah. Not long. I had to actually cut it short a little bit to make sure I was here on time, although that was not needed.
Good.
But I'll do those extra reps another day. I don't know why, because I didn't stretch in the morning. I was moving around a lot more than I normally do, cleaning and stuff. So maybe the body kind of limbered up.
Which is limber.
Yeah. And just when I went out there, man, I could just feel immediately I'm feeling strong. So technically I've still got 3 more days to continue getting shit done. And the fitness challenge, I'll bring it up, but I'm not doing so well right at this very moment.
Well, I was going to say it's right at the end.
I've got a
way to
I've got a
pull it all
second
back.
wind. I've got a second wind to make it so it's not so bad. So we'll see how I go. But yeah, today was a great session, but I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Good.
Is there anything else we really need to do? I don't think so, man. I think we'll do the normal thing and wait those extra couple minutes. Oh, yes. Going to Burleigh on Sunday with the handstand crew. Brendan messaged me. He says, what does he say?
What was that? I didn't hear you, man.
So we're going to Burleigh on Sunday.
Burleigh?
Yeah.
On Saturday?
Sunday. And then he says, yo, do you want to lift to Burleigh on Sunday? I can pick you up at 7:30. And I say, oh my God, no, just too early for
7:30 a.m. Damn.
Yeah, I'll go.
That's much too early for Kyrin.
I'll get there at midday maybe.
Speaking of Saturday, what time do you want to do those podcasts? Double? Yeah, I was thinking probably 2 or 3. Something around there. Cause I'll probably get back around 1-ish or something like that, or 2.
Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Sounds good.
Sweet.
Sounds good. I'll do a morning-ish workout and then just go straight from there into South Bank, I suppose. Yeah, I think I'm confident enough in the laptop that it'll behave. It's been doing all right. It's just, you saw the worst you saw was right before last one where it just
when it was
randomly
absolutely
restarted.
Pissing around.
Yeah, so a restart during it would be really annoying, but yeah, we'll see. It's been pretty good. And yes, what else? I got the book review tomorrow is going to be delayed because I haven't actually recorded it yet. So I'm going to have to record in the morning and then publish it on the same day.
On the same day? Oh, as in just publish it in the afternoon sort of thing?
Yeah, I just haven't done the notes and I ran out of time last week to...
I was thinking whether I was going to be able to get to finishing the Can't Hurt Me book by David Goggins by this week. So I was like, if I can try edit it and do it before I go to Tasmania.
Fuck,
That'd be
you
nice,
got no chance. You got no chance, man. Dude, I'm barely going to get it out on the same day of actually recording it. And you'd only be able to record it, maybe tonight if you'd brought it, but...
Yeah, exactly. Well, I remember, like, to post it for, like, next week type of deal.
Yeah.
But even then, there's possibilities.
I've got this week sorted. I've got next week sorted. Maybe the one after that.
Okay. Well,
So
I'm like...
We'll have to see.
30 pages away.
Yeah. All right, it's 6:59.
Let's do it.
I think we should just kick this off. Oh, and I will just bring up. Close your eyes, one. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look.
Damn.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll run this one. You can do the monthly goals.
Let's do it.
I'll just see. I think I had an extra note or two. Did I? Where is it? Here we go. Yep. Okay, sweet. All right, here we go. Yes, welcome everyone to a Mere Mortals musing session.
Musings.
There's a live musings that we do every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So if you're keen and want to hear us live, come join us at that particular point in time.
Correct.
You've got Kyrin here on this side of the microphone.
Got one on the other side.
One on the other side. And a musing session is where we pick a topic and we dive deeper into it. Deep conversations with a lighthearted touch, but focusing on the deepness today. Mm-hmm. Today's one is pretty fun. We always enjoy these ones. It's a goals one. So we're going to be talking all things goals. In particular, my goals for 2023. Correct. So even though it's for 2023, they actually start in October of 2022. Both of us do this. You do yours on your birthday. Correct. So Juan's talked about his a couple of weeks ago, or months ago, I guess. So I can't remember the actual episode number. In any case, he's done his one. So if you want to learn about that, just check out Juan 2023 goals, and it'll pop up. And we'll do mine. So we've already done our review of 2022 as well. So quick recap on that. For me, was relatively good. I definitely failed a couple of things like outright, in particular, like finding a partner, like talking to girls sort of thing. Just, wasn't a huge priority. And the German conversation, whilst I did learn a lot of German, I didn't actually do a conversation per se in it. So, but I was happy enough with everything that happened, even though it didn't feel like I got everything done that year.
Gotcha.
Let's just dive straight into them, I guess.
Well, I was going to say, I want to go first in terms of some of the ones that I thought perhaps would be, this would be fun. Would come up. So let me just bring them up now. So I went, okay. I thought in some part, I do know that for yourself, you have I've been hinting. You have been hinting at a few, and you have a lower number amount of goals normally, but included in that is your sort of annual fitness challenge. So like that's got a few extra. So that's fine. So here's some that I wrote to see if they match up.
Okay, interesting.
So I had I'm thinking one arm handstands is definitely going to be there. And I wasn't sure to say 10-second hold or 20-second hold.
Ooh, yeah.
So I reckon there'll be a 10-second hold and a 20-second hold in there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking there's definitely going to be something around finding a partner, but I don't know how you're going to structure this one. So I thought maybe you're going to write something along the lines of, going out with a particular person 10 times. I wasn't sure how you're going to structure this one, but I said, there's going to be something around a partner. Yep. I don't know if it means approaches. I don't know if
gun
it means...
to a head.
Come out 10 times.
So, we're on the 9th date. You got to make it one more.
So I'm not sure if you go down the path of, I'm going to be going out 3 hours every week. I might think that's not good enough. I feel like that might not work enough. But so I'll interested to see how you play with that one. I wrote down exploring a new location worldwide. Because you've talked about recently Bali. So, and I thought, would I say maybe he wants to go to Germany or something like that? But I put explore a new location worldwide. I wrote that down, perhaps. Okay. I have something here about planche holds. Don't know if they're going to introduce, go in there. I'm not sure about timing and the like.
I have a love-hate relationship with planches.
So there's planches. And then the last one, of course, I just said some sort of developing, but I'm not sure. It's still how it's going to look like. So
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see what you landed on that looking like. So
Yeah, for sure.
those are my thoughts anyway. So
Okay,
we'll see how they stack up.
How they pan out. Yeah. So for context for everyone, when I was 25, I created a kind of like big sheet, and I went through multiple iterations of this. I basically spent 3 or 4 weekends, like kind of 5 hours a day, I think. It was a longer, maybe it wasn't that much, but it was a large amount of time, at least 20 hours, kind of sitting at a desk and really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life and where I saw myself going. And this is what I call the long-term goals. So for those, I came up with 8 categories, and it was partner, relationships, financial, health, spirituality, travel, character, and knowledge/skills. And so those were like the 8 core kind of things in my life that I thought were very important. And then since then, roughly every year I've had a goal related to them. So if you've checked out the last 2 years worth, there's been 8, and they've been stuck to that. And it could change in the future. It almost changed this year. Changed. But I'll get into that in a sec. So there's 8 goals. I'll do 4 now. We'll do our Boostagram section, and then we'll do the other 4. We'll do the other 4. Yeah.
Good.
So I'll bring them up on the screen as well, so we can just have like a little bit of an overview right to start off with. And there we go. And so like I said, there are 8, and I'll just read them out quickly, and then we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of them. So partner, I've just written find an interesting chick. Relationships, proactive, and community. So these mean something to me, and hence why I'll need to explain them. Financial, no overexposure, but experiment. Health, well, this one's pretty easy. Full front, middle splits, and pancake. Spirituality, create memorable moments. Travel, prioritize German and Spanish convos. Character, figure and fix my bad tendencies. And knowledge/skills, understand basic coding. So those are the main ones.
The main topics again.
But let's focus on the first 4.
Okay.
So number 1, partner, finding an interesting chick. So basically last year I kind of had like a hedgy goal. It was made with it said improve my intent and personability. And the thing with that was like it was almost like I was embarrassed by it, by a way like of saying I really need to go out there and spend the time to find a girl. And so when I was structuring it this time, I was also sort of thinking like, should I set a time limit, something like that?
Yeah.
I've done that before, and I just don't think I'm in the point of a life where I'm like, I used to spend 3 hours a day going
that's what I mean.
That's why
I was like,
I can't do that anymore.
That's why I was waiting to see like, are you going to apply some sort of time limit? Are you going to go with this? I was like, I really want to know how you're going to break this one down.
Yeah.
So I was unsure.
So basically for me, it was the definitely finding the girl. So it doesn't, I don't have to, like, I don't need to be in a relationship. So if I don't find an interesting chick, that's fine. I guess like I failed it. But number 1, I'm not trying to play the field. Like I'm not. That's done and dusted. Okay. That part of my life. So it's definitely not going to be like, oh, can Kyrin sleep with a lot of girls in a year? No, wrong. I just want to find a relationship, a partner. So that's clear. And I was thinking like, do I want, a compatible girl? What's like the definition that I want? And I think I just want an interesting one.
An interesting one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess compatible is really up there in terms of like long term. It'd definitely be, if the dream girl came along, I'm not letting her escape. That's like, I'm not letting her escape through the fingers because, there's,
there's other things coming through.
Other girls over here. Like.
So I mean, my initial take on some of these ones, obviously, because they're very simple. It's very simply written, but obviously,
I write them simply because I create them in my Evernote, and so I just want to I don't want it super detailed.
Which is fun.
But I think to look at and I know what it means.
So when you write smart goals. These are not like smart at all. There's no time base. There's no specificity. There's no time bound. There's no measurable. Nothing.
Responsibilities.
How are you going to find breaking down some of these into like what it looks like monthly? Is it just more?
Yeah. So
fluid. Like say with the first one where it says find an interesting chick. Is it because you just know in your mind what you want to do month on month to that?
More or less, yeah. Okay. So you'll see, and we're doing the monthly goals straight after this.
Yep, so it'll be an example there.
They're getting released actually
afterwards.
Times, so it's going to be a weird one. But if you look at the October 2022 goals for both of us, you'll see that the first one I've had in there was really focused on me, not even just talking particularly to girls, but just in general, trying to get rid of this kind of filter in my head that stops me from talking to people. So you'll see a lot more. There will probably be some where it's like in a month, like do 10 approach. Like if I find that I'm sort of still not getting out enough, things like that, then I'll create some which are like, hey, go out and do that. Like actually go out and find some interesting girls, like literally just go out and get some numbers sort of thing.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then others will be, if I'm finding a cool chick, it'll be, create the time to spend more time with her, dating type things. Now it's, I don't want to particularly be setting goals around dating. So it's more going to be focused on the getting out there.
Have you got an idea where you might be finding these interesting chicks?
Man, I always just seem to the long-term relationships I've created in the past have been me doing exactly this, which is like I gave my shot last year of doing it the normal way. Meeting girls through, I guess, like friend groups and things like that. Doesn't particularly work for me. I'm putting that down to my isolation tendencies. Like even if I did meet a girl, I can't just turn it on rapidly. For me, it needs to be like building up the charm, the humor, the social just presence, I guess, like just talking a lot. So it definitely needs to be me for like, I don't know, like kicking up in gear, like ramping up. Like it's almost like I'm like Sonic. I get some speed. I'm like,
I can hear listeners in myself. I'm like, well, what does that mean? So like, I'm genuine. I'm like, okay, there's friends groups, there's apps, there's forcing away. And
sorry, I didn't answer your question. So what I will be doing is literally going out to places where there's lots of girls just walking around. So South Bank here in Brisbane. Universities, the city, that sort of thing, in a daytime environment, finding a reason to talk to them and talking to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So you are going to be doing.
That's how I found all my other girlfriends.
Yep.
That's how it's been done.
Gotcha. So you're going to be you're just going to be doing the approaching that you've done in the past, but without a time limitation with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So good. That's and you'll see the progression of how I plan on doing that. That looks like
okay.
And so just gotta hope there's people
an interesting
walking
chick
around.
out there.
I'll find one. Relationships. So this is related to for me it's I've written proactive in communities, and basically I think both of us over the last year have spent a lot more time going to different events. You've been going to Cars and Coffee. I've been going to crypto ones. I've been trying out the like Spanish events and things like that. International friends. All sorts of different ones.
Yep.
But it was always in a very passive sort of, I'm just going to go, like if I bail last minute, that's fine. There's no responsibility on my part. And so I think it's good to actually be proactive to a certain extent in some of these. And so I want to start actually doing things. So I want to be the one organizing some of these events, so podcaster meetup groups, for example. There's the crypto ones where I want to do like a value for value presentation in it. The Spanish ones and German ones, like it is possible for me to be going on there and stirring up some activity, things like that.
Yeah.
So basically, just spending more time. Not being a lurker like I normally do, and
which is hard. It's a hard thing to go from passive to active in those.
It really is. Even with Discord, I've joined a bunch of different Discords, and I just don't enjoy posting. It's not my thing. So I want to do it in a way where these communities, they're more actively face-to-face sort of things, and so in that way I can be more proactive, and I can see that actually being enjoyable rather than if you'd told me. If I'd said be more proactive in our own Discord, that's going to be hard. I could do it a little bit, but I couldn't spend all day online like some people do who are fantastic marketers and things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one of the learnings I had from doing it last year, I believe it was last year that I did about when I like focus in on a particular social platform in a month. So I was like,
you did
LinkedIn
that a few times,
and post like every day, Instagram, do this, whatever. I found like focusing in helped a lot more than doing it, like trying to the shotgun approach of like doing everything. So I could imagine if you were to do something like,
I'm not going to be more involved in all of them. 5 events.
Oh man, I'd blow my head off. I'd be like, no way.
No. It's going to be like, do this one this month, do this one this next month. And yes, it's going to be scattershot and not as efficient. And no, I'm not going to be a leader in any of these. But you know, there'd be like I'd go there and people are like, oh shit, it's Kyrin, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
When I go there at the moment, it's like, who the fuck's this bald person? Why are you in our place? Why are you wearing ratty clothes?
You've been to some of these things like multiple times, and people still like, who's this guy?
What? Who are you?
Yeah.
Okay,
fair. That's the second one.
Yeah, so that's the second one. So the next one, when I bring it up, is financial. So last year was all around understanding crypto. I feel like I understand it. To
like the degree that you want
a pretty
to.
good extent. Yeah, getting in there anymore would be. I'd be learning, you know, like functions of how the Bitcoin. I've even forgotten the name of all these things. Like the SRC 250 hash 250 SHA-256. I've heard it a bunch of times. I don't know what it means. If I got any deeper, I'd know what that means.
What the SHA-256 encryption is.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah. So. I've got that enough, and now just with the way the world's going at the moment, there's war, there's financial, you know, there's inflation, there's
Kyrin is talking straight out of someone else telling him all this information.
Oh, 100%,
sure as hell there's none of this info you've been reading firsthand.
there's definitely.
There's a lot of like I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of financial pain coming to a lot of people. I think over the next 6-8 months, you can see it in the horizon. You can see, I think. Just today, the American markets hit their lowest intraday in 2 years, and with inflation still going up and rates going up, property's going to have to get a hit. So there is going to be mad pain in shares, property, you name it. And normally with inflation going up, exposure to more riskier investment assets like things like crypto are going to just generally get pulled back in terms of monetary things. So, you know, if in the next 6 months and a year, you're like, I'm going to get rich out of crypto, then good luck. That's not what's going to happen. That's not what's going to happen.
No, and that's exactly my thoughts. There's a lot of pain coming, and I'm sure I'll feel it as much as, well, not as much as anyone. I'm sure some of it will come my way. I'm nowhere near smart enough to pick winners in a losing market. Yep. I'm not even smart enough to pick winners in a winning market. So the the point of this goal is definitely to be careful. I definitely had a bit of too much exuberance last year, and now is like hunker down. Don't wreck yourself, but still experiment. So I still want to be, willing to spend money on things if I think I can get some learning from it. If I think it's a new exciting project, if it's all those sorts of things. So
does that mean, do you think that your DCA, your daily cost averaging, will continue into the next year as well?
Yes, but like I said, I did that DCA way too hard. Way too hard.
Would have been lovely to be doing it now.
Of course. But I'd still feel just as weird, to be honest. I'd be like, I psychologically, I must be sadistic. Masochistic. I find it easy to DCA in when it's going down. I don't know why. I just find it's like.
Oh no, absolutely. I can't do it on the way up.
Yeah,
I cannot DCA on the way up.
Same.
Yep.
So.
It's just for me. I'm like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah. So basically, I just want to make sure I don't get wrecked. Yeah, that's number one goal for this coming year.
Yeah, I must say though, I'm gonna call it out here. I very smartly, I feel like this time around, you remember back many years ago when I was like, guys, get into Zip, get into all these ones now.
Yeah, so that was like 2020.
That was 2020. That was before the crash. That was before crash.
It was before it was
before the crash. I want to tell you guys to get into it.
Yes, yeah, you're correct. I remember.
Now this time around, I could smell it. Like I could see it happening, and I actually emptied out also, like everything out, all cash, like sitting on massive amounts of cash.
Yeah.
And my biggest one, which I really, really enjoyed, this particular share company. I'll share it. It's Renogen, right?
Renogen.
It was like,
Love
just
some
going
Renogen.
awesome, going gangbusters, right? Now I emptied out of all that. I was kind of like disappointed in my mind, being like, I've taken the actual solid profits, but it's gone away. It's dropped over 40% since I've sold it. So I was like, man,
Yes.
sometimes you time well, but yes, experimenting. I like that. How and what would goals look like for that?
So
For
it'd be things like I haven't actually sold any Hosky, for example. I want to try selling it.
Okay.
I want to try what yield farming is actually like.
Here's one experiment I actually did, because this was in trial. So for those who might not use Nami as a wallet for Cardano, I saw zero, and I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So I'd never actually done this, which I was like, interesting. Moved money back to an exchange. Never done that before.
Okay.
I'd actually never done that.
Okay, yeah, I had done that.
So
before,
I've moved it and withdrew some just to confirm something. That's literally the first time I've ever withdrawn any money of cryptocurrency.
There you go.
I was like,
damn. Wait,
ever.
no, you sold Bitcoin back in the day. How'd you do that?
Not from an exchange.
Okay.
That was just direct.
How'd you do that?
Or maybe it was being exchanged.
You had to have. Like, you didn't know anyone, did you?
No, I wouldn't have. And I wouldn't be smart enough to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. The first time I've done it, as of recent years.
No, you probably kept it on the exchange, right? You wouldn't have taken it off. You wouldn't have put it in your own wallet.
No.
Yeah.
It would have been on the exchange the whole time.
Yeah. So, yeah. First time
It was the first time from a hot wallet to an exchange.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But no, withdrawing. True.
No, I think that's a...
Actually,
yeah.
now I think about it, I probably did that with Ethereum too. Anyways.
Anywho. Yeah. Lots of fun things. I haven't done anything with Ethereum. I have it, but I haven't done anything with it. I feel like I should. So I want to at least just play around, do some things, try out a layer 2. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And then the health. So there's a carryover from last year. Full front, middle splits, and pancake. So I've added the front splits because even though I had them to a certain extent, they're kind of I feel like they're dodgy ones. I'm really like, my hips aren't in line when I do them. So normally when you do a middle split, so for those who are at home, your one leg goes forward, the other goes directly behind you. Sorry, front split. One leg goes directly forward, one goes behind you, and you want to have your body kind of upright, and ideally you want your hips relatively square. And I don't. I'm kind of pushing one side of my hips forward and one back.
Yep.
And this is because I've my quads. That's a quad problem. My quads aren't flexible enough. Well, actually, one of the quads is flexible
the back
enough,
one,
and
I guess,
the hamstring on the other side is not. So, I know that it's worse for me with my right foot forward and left foot back. So, just want to work on that. And then the others, the middle splits and pancake, I've kind of did it. I did get, I would say, my whole kind of torso flat to the ground, but that was not cold. That was after,
like a good amount of work,
in the evening after a crazy day of workouts and just etc.
Yeah. Okay.
So cold.
So what? And you want to do it cold, sort of thing? Yeah.
More or less cold. Like if I can do it within the first kind of 2 hours of waking up, I feel that's cold enough for me. Okay. Yeah, and that'll definitely improve my handstands if I can get those. And that is definitely going to be front loaded this year because I've learned from last year, which is winter is a really shitty time to be really working hard on stretching. Gotcha. It is just annoying as shit. So much more of that is going to be done in the next 6 months. Yeah.
Good.
Let's do some Boostagrams.
Yeah, let's do some Boostagrams.
Quit my jabbering for a little bit and have an opportunity to thank everyone who's been supporting the show. So there's a Value for Value podcast for those who want to know, and we do all this for free. You can tune in anytime you want, tune out. Don't have to ever interact with us if you don't want. But if you enjoy it, if you get value from it, we just ask that you send that value back. And so you can do it time, talent, and treasure. Sharing the show. You can talk about why my SMART goals aren't smart, that sort of thing. And the treasure portion is where you can, in one of the cool new podcast apps.com, and I suggest them as well because the chapter art's been popping up with these goals on it. And sending a Boostagram, which is a payment of cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Satoshis coming into us, and with a message attached. So Juan, who's
correct.
He's been
Well, we got the usual. We got the usuals. We've got, first of all, Petar with 55,555 sats.
That's a big boost. That is a big boost.
That's a big boost. Thank you. Peter. Using Fountain. Thank you very much, Petar. And he says, ethical lines. A good friend of mine asked me to baptize his son a number of years ago. I wanted to, but I decided that it would be hypocritical of me to stand in a church and pretend to believe in something I don't actually believe in. So I told him I couldn't do it. Unfortunately, he didn't understand and hasn't spoken to me since.
Dang.
Really sucks losing my friend, but looking back, I feel good about being honest and adhering to my ethical standard.
Nice, man. I purposefully chose not to read that because I knew it was going to be a pretty deep one. Dang. I didn't even know you could do that as a random person. Like he's not a pastor.
He might not be a random person. As in, like he might have qualifications to baptize someone. Okay. Perhaps. Not sure. Peter let us know.
That'd be strange to have them and not believe, I guess. It would be
that is true, unless he's gone through a period of believing and now no longer so as well.
Yeah,
that's also that.
This is true.
It's an interesting one as well because the holding the ethical line there of what you do believe and don't believe, there it kind of like overimposes, I guess, the friendship that someone has. But I guess sometimes we look at it as if it's an ethical line on your side, and then there's a relationship or a connection on the other side. I think you have to kind of look at it on the extreme of the bad. It's kind of like, which one's going to be worse off? Like, am I going to, 20 years later, am I going to regret not sticking to my ethical line, or am I going to regret leaving that connection
losing a friend for maybe something which you're kind of, like half on. Now it sounded like he was very sure of what he did, and he says he doesn't regret it. So that's good to hear. But it's one of those kind of shitty situations that life throws up, and it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Exactly. You're gonna cop it one way or another. It's like what's going to be the least worst. So thank you very much, Peter, for that one.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks.
And the other one's from Dave Jones, and that's the weekly boost for the Mere Mortal Light Nation. 12,112 sats and using Cron. So
very
Dave,
cool.
Thank you very much. And then the Anonymous testing Podverse update. 210 sats sent using Podverse.
Who was that?
Anonymous.
Oh, Anonymous. Oh, yeah, thank you.
Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yeah. So I was testing the Podverse update. So
very cool.
There you go.
Very cool.
Nice test. That's all the
test all you want over here.
Exactly. That's all the Boostagrams for this week around. We also have. You want to bring up the numbers as well at all for the
No, we'll do that monthly goals. Monthly goals.
Okay. Oh yes. My apologies. Yeah. But yes, thank you very much to Peter, Dave, and Anonymous, and obviously everyone else who keeps on supporting. But
streaming as well. Everyone who streams as well as.
I don't know if you saw Fountain posted this on Twitter about that someone was on a hot streak or something, and they were streaming at 1,000 sats a minute.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and I was like, "What? Damn!" Yeah. They got a notification saying someone was streaming at 1,000 sats a minute.
I wonder if they knew, and I thought they were boosted.
Dude, I was like, no, it was actually like actual sats per minute. Yeah. But I was like, yeah. Woo!
That's
That'd be a nice stream. All of a sudden, you listen to 3 of the Mere Mortals podcasts for an hour long.
Yeah. Go check out like the 2 hour and a half conversations. Wow, yeah, that's super cool. Super cool. Thank you, everyone.
Let's get back to the other 4.
Back into it.
Annual goals.
Back into the 4 others. So now we're coming into these ones were, funnily enough, I'd say harder to create for me. These 4. In particular, one of them was one where I was like, do I even need to create a goal for this? Most of the others over the last 3 months, I've kind of just been throwing some random thoughts in, evolving a little bit, but one of them was just staying blank, and it wasn't until I kind of came almost to the end of the month. So I'll get to that shortly. So first one, spirituality. That is creating memorable moments. Now for this one, what I've noticed over this past 2 years is I'm struggling. If you ask me, Kyrin, what happened in 2020, 2021, and even 2022, there's nothing that really jumps out at me as like, yes, big events were happening worldwide, COVID, but for me, there's relatively few moments of being like, damn, that was like something happened to me that I'm never going to forget. There's things I know I can rationally go back and like, oh, I tried running a marathon. Oh, I did this. Oh, the podcast we did this with the podcast. Juan and I moved in together, that sort of thing. But I feel like I've gotten to a point where I could wake up in 8 years' time and I'd be, I don't know, successful in that I've achieved a lot of what I'd want to have achieved. Like I don't see myself not getting the fitness stuff that I want and other things, but I can also see myself waking up and being like, what the fuck did I do the last 8 years of my life?
Gotcha.
It was like day in, day out training. The too much discipline in a way. I know Juan's shocked to hear this. You can never have too much. Maybe like too much unthinking discipline. I'm kind of noticing that. That there just hasn't been enough moments of kind of spontaneity of really doing something where I'm like really in the present moment. So that's more what I'm trying to do. It's more live in the present, appreciate it, and not be. You still maintain the discipline, but also be able to create some moments for myself.
Again, give us an insight as to what this might look like on a month to month come. I get it at the high level, but I'm stuck on like it just doesn't feel tangible enough. Like, what does that actually mean?
So for me, it would be something like if I'm out with someone and normally I'd like shy away from. So I went to Kyrin's diner not too long ago. And it's kind of like an interactive place. The theme being everyone's a Kyrin. All the wait staff are Kyrin, so they're super rude to you. First thing that the waitress said when she saw me was like, "God damn, you're a fuckwit," and it's not that different from my normal life. So it was a bit disappointed to be honest. But
and you were like, "Damn!" And then we realized we weren't even in the right restaurant.
We were
just at Domino's.
And during the meal, they had a kind of like spin the wheel Kyrin event, something, and people like putting their hands up. I didn't put my hand up. It's not the type of thing that normally appeals to me. I don't like being the center of attention in that way. I see myself as being, if I'm following the goals, I'm kind of with this. I would imagine myself in that moment putting my hand up at the least and trying to create something. So and then they were having to do things like karaoke in front of a whole group full of people. They put on music and you had to do a catwalk and other random shit. So it's more in those sorts of things where there's all sorts of moments that happen in my life, especially I'm out in South Bank. There's all sorts of weird ass people wandering around doing crazy shit. And I'm very passive for the most part. I don't partake in them. I don't actively try and make friends and if someone's doing something that I can do, go up and join them or ask them a question about like, what the fuck is that thing going on? So that's what I'm imagining. And, maybe combine that with events that I wouldn't normally go to, things like that. Juan's not impressed.
Not impressed by this. I'm not impressed by that at all.
Well, that's okay. They're my goals, not yours.
Yeah, it's what I think is getting me is the like that sort of goal. It just seems so fluffy in the sense that time will go past, and then you would look back on it and you could say, "Yes, I accomplished it because yes, I've done memorable moments." But it might be a thing where 3 years later you look back and be like, oh, actually, it's one of those years again where it felt like it was memorable, but actually it wasn't. And
that could just be life, man.
Maybe that is true. That is true. That is true. I think what it's getting me is that it's not super clear, cookie cutter style of a goal of there's a good reasonable thing. It's like, oh, okay, I have achieved this, I've done this. But perhaps, and I'm getting the flavor of it from all these goals.
Kind of related to spontaneity. You can't plan spontaneity. It's being a bit more spontaneous. It's living a bit more in the present moment.
I guess the other one that got me was like you said, the hand up, the participation. There's a difference between the participation and the being in the event and being in the moment, and having memorable moments. It's kind of like the difference of if you're standing at a mountain overlooking a mountain or something, is it because you're participating in the fact that you went on the hike that makes it memorable? Is it memorable because you're in that location? Like
that's been both.
Well, I guess, and that's definitely a personal thing in terms of what is it that makes it memorable. Because I for sure see like things for me, memorable moments, like a Kokoda challenge. Wow, that was awesome. That's something that I did and it's memorable. but I can certainly name other things that were memorable, but it wasn't like I was actively being like, oh, I need to do this. Like, I want to put my hand up. I was like, it was just the time, the place, whatever it may have been. I was just out longer, whatever it may. Something happened, memorable, cool. And I was in the moment, almost just imagine me like, okay, yes, this is a great moment. Let's feel it even more like deeper, or celebrate it even more in the particular moment. So that's why I was like, oh, you could take this into like many different ways.
Well, the Kokoda one, for example, I don't think that would be memorable for me.
No, exactly. That wouldn't, and that's what I mean. Like, that's why for me reading that, I feel like if someone read this of a goal of yours, there would be many different answers to what it could be. Like if you were like to say to someone, hey, one of my goals, spirituality, is create a memorable moment. You could, like, there's gonna be very varying details of it that you'd have to then explain and be like, no, this is what a memorable moment is to me and whatnot, which again, maybe that is part of what that sort of thing is. And maybe it's because my goals are still,
there's 3. There was read 6 philosophical books, complete a 1 hour German combo, and 12 dance events.
Hey, but you might have learnings lessons in them, in the fact that maybe, the philosophy books didn't work. So perhaps there was some learnings of that.
Yeah, no, for me, I think it's good enough. But I'm sure every year I've said, that's a good goal, and found out a bit later.
That's the learning.
Yeah, not so great. Another one here. So this is travel. So this is prioritizing German and Spanish convos. So in particular for this, I don't plan to travel anywhere this coming year. The one after, I would be more.
No Bali?
Oh no. Yeah, I'd do that. Okay. I'd do it, but it's not. If that happens, it happens.
Gotcha.
It's not.
It's not like a.
It's not
yes,
important if
I'm
I do
planned
it
it in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so for me, it was kind of, this is still related to like the next ones type of deal. I want the next ones to be kind of epic. I want those to get, if I don't ever see myself doing 14 months again. That's too long. I could maybe see myself doing 3 to 6 months. And so with that shorter time period, I'd want to kind of hit the ground running. Whereas when I went to Latin America, it took me 3 months to really get in the groove of travel again. Of travel for the first time.
So I'll just inquire here, because you've got in here about German and Spanish combos, which is good. But I want to just pick on that one that you said that you do want to do like another, not a 14 month, but maybe like a 3 month. But you do want to, in that first one, you talked about finding a chick. Do you ever think about perhaps the potential, because this happened last time, where you're planning on going on an extended trip, like a 3 month trip, where you might find an interesting chick and you'll go, yep, I'm also planning on traveling for 3 months, 4 months, whatever it may be for it, and be like, this chick will go, no, I don't want that. And this, it's not an ethical line, but where does that find in your balance, I guess? When you balance some of these goals, you start talking about that like in the future. Do you go, are you now on the stage where you'd be like, okay, I won't do that if this chick is an interesting chick and I want to stay with her? Or do you go, no, I'm still going to go do the travel. Forget this. I'll deal with it when I come back.
Travel is not as important as it used to be for me. Doing that, I would have regretted it the rest of my life if I hadn't gone to Latin America. I don't think I'd regret it if I didn't get to Germany ever. Like, I want to go there. I think it'd be really fucking cool. But if I never get there just for all sorts of circumstances, then
it's not a regret.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, ideally it'd be cool if it's like, hey, do you want to come with me to Germany and then we like hang out and travel around Germany together. That'd be fucking cool.
Yep. I'm feeling like if it's an interesting chick, one of the aspects of being interesting is that they want to go like travel to Germany and stuff like that. So
that's kind of in my thoughts. So, but in particular, prioritizing the German and Spanish convos. So, I still want to study the language itself. I still get a lot of enjoyment from that. But basically with this goal, it's if I only have an hour in a week to do something, that hour needs to be on a conversation. It needs to be.
Gotcha.
I will spend 45 minutes driving somewhere, like 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, for a 15-minute convo. Like that's the kind of level it needs to be at to focus on the conversations. Now, thankfully, with the internet, you don't necessarily need to do that. But yeah, it's more definitely the convo part. So 2 things happened to me recently. One, I went out to the calisthenic park. There's this guy, Mario, and his wife, Mariana, and their little baby, Lorenzo. And I know them pretty well now. And I was speaking with them, and it was just trash coming out of my mouth. I couldn't believe how bad my Spanish was.
Yep.
It was the worst it's been for... It was so bad that I had to switch to English. I was just like, I can't speak right now. Like, well, let's switch to English. And on that same week, I had my first dream in German, where I was speaking in German in my dream. And it just really highlighted to me like, oh, well, if you spend more time on something, like you get better at it. So I want to keep the Spanish and I want to improve the German. And it's
going to be a fine balance. I wonder how...
It's going to be hard.
I really wonder how people, with 7, 8 languages
they
really
can't
keep all that up.
They just simply cannot. It's
look, at some people out there who are fluent in all those languages.
Yeah, look, there's some people with brains who are different. There's some people who have photogenic memories and stuff. So when you're getting to that level, okay, they can. But
sure.
But most normal people can't, for sure. So then we get on to the character, fixing my bad tendencies. So this was the one where I didn't have particularly anything that I was thinking of.
Okay, this was the one that could have been empty.
Yeah. And I don't like having just random gaps. And especially when I wrote some stuff, it's kind of, especially for character, feels like, oh, yeah, no, I'm perfect. Like everything's good.
Yep.
But I have noticed myself, especially these past, probably like 3 months, again, just falling into some old bad habits, and I'll talk more about them on a monthly goals, or
go listen to monthly goals for October to check that out.
But yeah, just really, this is where it's like, I think I'm an okay human being, but there's definitely some stuff I still want to work on, and so just fixing up these niggling things.
Yep.
Mostly kind of, it's those moments where you have in life where you're like, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know I shouldn't be eating this cookie, but fuck it. I'm going to eat the cookie. Yeah. That sort of thing.
Fair.
Fixing those. And then the last one, this one was a tricky one. So knowledge and skills, understanding basic coding.
What does this mean? This one's absolute trash. This is the worst written thing I've ever seen.
I made this so intentionally obscure for a reason. It's because I didn't exactly know what I want. I want to, because there's like 10 different things I want. I want to know what language, what the actual like learning of a language of code is. So it doesn't matter what one it is, but it's kind of in German. I know the subject verb order. I know the different, conjugations of words. I know how when you've got a sentence and you put das in here, then that switches the verb order, that sort of thing. I want to get the general impression of a language. It doesn't have to be anything in specific. And this is where I'm like, I just don't know about any of the languages. I don't know how Python is different to Java, how it's different to Haskell, how it's different to Rust, how it's different to whatever. So it'd be kind of like me saying, oh, I want to learn, I don't know, Mandarin or something, and yet having no desire to actually learn the language. So it's kind of like I've written it, so I need to understand about one of them, kind of. The other portions are there's some like mini things that I would love to do. I'd love to be able to create some mini projects for myself, and I've got some mini project ideas here already. So this is something like creating a script to download all of the episodes, like reference our RSS feed, download all of the MP3 links in a particular folder, and the JSON files and for the cover art and things like that. It'd be cool to create a script where if I just drag the chapter images into a certain box or something, it'll create it. There's all sorts of like little things I'd like to try out, and I do not know how hard any of these are. Like I have no fucking clue. So yeah,
this is gonna be the most wild annual goal.
It's gonna be a funny one. So yeah, basically, I just want to understand a basic coding. I want to play around with the language. I intentionally wrote this obscure so that if I'm finding myself like learning from I've got a Python book in the next room. If I find myself reading and learning that and going like, this is fucking trash, then that gives me the option to then go onto a course online and try that out. And if that fails, then I'll go.
I think they're probably gonna run into with this goal, and I don't know how you were gonna slice it, which is what it's weird, but it's like, you know, where you end up picking also denotes it's not like languages of French, German, and the like, where you use languages to speak to each other, and it's a one-to-one. Like I'm speaking to you, someone else is speaking, like we're speaking to the Immortal Nation right now, that sort of thing. This is like it's a fractional speaking language, right? HTML is going from a place to a surface layer. Like that's the coding one, and you'll go, okay, well, I understand this coding, and then you want to connect it to a database code, and it's like, piss off. That's not that's not even the code we use. That's not even the language.
Yeah.
So I fear that you might pick a project.
It's going to be a mess, man. It's going to be an absolute mess.
I fear it's going to be a project you'll pick. You'll be like, oh, I want to do this. And it'll be like, you'd have to learn like 7 different languages. Or what you'll actually find yourself, this is the real difficult thing, is that there's a lot of good ways and good things built out there now, which takes away the coding. Like, I don't know to the nth degree to do website coding and the like, but I can build a website and databases, but I don't need any coding language to know that.
Yeah.
To truly be like, I want to actually apply code is like, okay, do you want to know basic code? Do you want to know Visual Studio, right? Like, are you going to actually use a Visual Studio compiler to build code, to deploy to a server, to go through an environment dev chain, to test it, to get it out to, you know, blue-green development? Like that's the sort of level I'm talking about of like, are you going to learn that?
I don't know.
And that's basic. That's basic coding.
Yeah.
You know, or you're going to learn PowerScript, and a PowerScript is just literally, you know, like you're saying, when you're talking about, oh, I wanted to like pick this folder or whatever. That's a PowerScript shell.
Yeah. No, honestly, so maybe it's the wording, but it's maybe it should have been something closer to diving into like this kind of tech world that just it's so murky to me. I've dipped my toes in the water with getting a server up and running and using a domain name for the first time. Yeah, it's sort of that level of so basic. Like I feel like I've probably missed a course or two in my learning as a youngster. I don't ever recall doing anything related to where would you have learnt this kind of stuff in high school? What would that course have been called?
Computer sciences.
Yeah, I never did computer science.
Gotcha.
in high school, so I feel like I'm lacking in just some
basic knowledge and
understanding. So yes, maybe that should have said something more like understand basic computer science. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be. It just depends on the level you take it. What you mean basic, like development.
Just watch people when I'm like cranking out code, creating my own blockchain, overtake.
It's like it is. Yeah, it's.
I want to be able to understand all the memes, the dev memes. Create my own developer memes.
Look, that should have been like the goal. If you can understand any dev memes, that's enough. You've understood it.
Oh, good. All right, so those are my goals for this next year. Murky, definitely murky. For.
Do you want to just go quickly through the fitness goals?
Yeah, for sure. So, a couple of things that I have learned from this. So, this is actually my end state, and I'll bring this up on your screen for those who are watching as well, and look on your podcast app. So this was how it ended for, I've still got 3 days left. Mm-hmm. I actually got, how much points did I get today? I got 4 and 2. So I got 6 points today.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to get all of these, the low flags and stuff like that. These strict muscle ups, I'm going to take a video and see, and I don't know. I was watching some videos the other day of typing like strict muscle ups or like clean muscle ups.
Yep.
most of them kept their legs straight, but there was still a bit of hip drive that I saw a lot of them doing. Like there was still people who had a slight little kicking back to the butt.
Yep.
So I don't know. We need an independent analysis.
If it's on an explosive muscle up over this bar, it's not ain't counting shit.
And what else? I could maybe get these handstand push-ups at the top. So and
you got to try and get them all tomorrow.
So I've got 2 days.
2 days, yeah, that's true.
I've got 2 days, so Thursday and Friday. So yeah, yes.
48 hours to get all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Good.
So yeah, look, there's a lot that I'm not going to be able to get, but I think I can get to above 50. So
Okay.
I'm really hoping to do that.
Cool.
So yeah, that was the last fitness challenge, but this next one, you were correct in quite a fair few of the things you were saying. So the main ones, I guess, is I've learned I probably put a bit too much calisthenics in the last one. Mm-hmm. So in this time I've made it really kind of strict, 80% handstand related stuff, 20% related to calisthenics.
Yep.
So all of this is basically designed for around two things: developing a good one arm handstand on both right and left, and developing good pressing power for a stalder type movement or straight arm pressing movement. So that's where your arms are just straight on the ground and you're kind of like leaning forward over your shoulders, and then your legs are counterbalancing as you come up. Yep. So those are the main things. A couple of stuff I learnt from the last one. I'm never going to do like three of a movement again. So I had written pike press, do more than three, stalder press more than three. Like doing 3 stalder press. What the fuck was I thinking, man? That is so fucking difficult. And I said to do 3 of them. Like it just, the same with the ring muscle ups and the P-bar muscle ups. I got my first ring muscle up a week ago.
That's true.
How was I expecting to get 3 of them? So lesson learned, don't include 3 of things. If it's a new movement, just one. One of it. So, yep. Basically, it'll be related to some handstand push-up type work, straddle one-arm handstand. So I said 15 seconds for the straddle.
Okay.
So you're kind of correct in that way. And then I've got candle. So that's where your legs, or a shveka, where your legs are directly straight, and then also a tuck. So easier to balance, but much more harder on the shoulders. I'm going to try some human flag work. So that's kind of like a mix between calisthenics and the handstands, because it's going to be working that kind of core strength. So the real calisthenic work, a follow over from the last ones. I just haven't been able to get these pull-ups, like 40 pull-ups straight. I'm probably at, I think if I did it max now, max would be like 35. Okay. I think so. Carrying those ones over, and that's just good because it gets me doing a lot of reps of that, which is what I want. And yeah, some planche work here. So 30 seconds for the tuck planche, 20 for the advanced tuck, and that's not a full straddle planche. It's kind of like your hips are in line with your shoulders, but your legs are kind of down. Like when Brendan does one. Yep, that's what he does. And then the rest is, just really specific for one arm handstand stuff. Doing like eye closed movements is really good because it just reduces the dependency on looking at something in particular. Flag work is really important. I've talked about the stalders and doing those on different grounds. So parallettes, blocks, and the ground. Good. Yeah, that's most of it. That's it.
So basically, are you expecting
fucking jacked?
A strong one-handed handstand by the end of this next year?
Yes. Yeah. I want it to be. It's going to look ugly. Still. Okay. It is. I don't think it'll be looking clean, but I think I'll be able to stand up. That's what I want. I want to be standing up there for a decent time. I actually got probably about 5 or 6 seconds the other day. Okay. And man, I wish I'd recorded that because that would have been just so disgustingly ugly. But there's something
stand
there.
Up there. Yep.
And that's so general impressions, Juan, from all of that in a thing.
Initial
how
disgust. Initial disgust. Now it's kind of sinking for me. So I'm like, I kind of get it.
Is there anything you didn't expect in there?
I
think I expected
I expected perhaps something else about books for some reason, but
no.
I was like, I was wondering if you were going to put something else in a book.
Learned my lesson.
Unexpected
book reviews will still get done, but
unexpected on some, because I feel like you've pulled back a little bit. It feels like you're pulling back on the intensity of some of these goals.
Yeah, you could put it that way, because like you said, when there's a number attached to it, I think it does make it a bit more real. Some of these, there's probably enough wiggle room that I can kind of wiggle my way out of it in a way.
I think I more meant like I did this thing for my annual goals where I kind of reviewed them, but the Peter Thiel view of, if you've got a goal for the next 10 years, what is it? Okay, cool. And then how would you try and do it in 1 year? Now that 10-year goal, how would you make it work in 1 year? And then, whatever that comes in place, cool. We'll do that instead of like doing it for 10 years. So then I shifted some things where it was like, okay, this is my goal. Okay, now let's amp it up a little bit more in the sense of, if you're shooting for the moon and you fall, but you're still amongst the stars. That's top level. So I guess there was some there that seem easily achievable. Like you could easily get to the end of the year and say, oh yeah, I met all of them.
Yeah.
In the sense, depending on how you look at it. And I think that's in my mindset, I think, on how I set my annual goals, I just see them as being like way too easy for me to say, yep, 100% done. Let's say take the instance for the partner one. You could potentially say like, oh yeah, I met a really interesting chick at a party once, right? And you could say,
that does.
And that's what I mean.
I'm
you
not
could
allowing myself that.
That's what I mean. There's like there wasn't enough like firmness in there that if you had a real shit time for 8 months of the year, if you look back and go, man, like. That's a pass. That's a pass because I met this cool person. And maybe it comes back to, we talked about this in the ethical line conversation, where I was like, there wouldn't be a time where I'm going to hit 0% of my monthly goals or annual goals, something like that, unless something like catastrophic happened. And if I had something like that, I could envision myself being able to give me an easy way out. So I think that it just seemed to me like there's a potential for an easy way out.
Yeah.
Then on the inverse, on the other side of thing, I'd also see that this round of annual goals, at least for you, looks like it would enable you to be more spontaneous and have more freedom to kind of enable something. And sometimes when you don't focus on something, that's when you actually get it. It's kind of like happiness. If you focus on happiness, you're probably not going to get it. But if you're just doing things that are adjacent to it, you probably find happiness along the way. Yeah,
no, that's a good point. I think the two things. One is that my general... I guess disposition is to be overly self-critical and be like, you didn't do it, you didn't get close enough. It's very rare where I'll allow myself the wiggle room to be, I didn't definitely say this, or it's there's some stuff when I look at some of my press to stand goals where I didn't specifically say it needs to be straight legs, but when I was creating it, that was what was in my mind, or like the stall to press. Sure, you can do a stall to press on the ground, I guess, but it could be ground where I'm slightly raised up on the sides, and so then that gives me room to swing the legs through. No, when I say ground, I mean like everywhere is flat around me. So I don't. Normally, I'm overly self-critical. Okay. So that explains, I guess, the lack of a need for real numbers, and I prefer putting numbered type ones in my monthly goals.
Cool.
And then the other one, I think you're right. I think I do need just a bit more spontaneity, a bit more freedom in some respect, I would say, this year. I felt like a lot of the last years I've been chasing things pretty hard, and it's been good, but I want a bit more just flexibility in some senses where it can be. I think last year I was really trying to work on each single one of these every single portion of the month. Yep. Whereas now I'm looking at it more like, okay, I'm planning on doing the the stretching more at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Same with you're finding an interesting girl when the weather's nice out and things like that. And then things like the coding, I can understand that, there's some stuff I'd like to do a bit more with the podcast first, and it can be more of a gradual one. And, Fair. The German stuff, if I let that slide for a little bit, that's okay, as long as I pick it up later.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think they're definitely intentionally a bit more obscure this year than they perhaps normally are.
Good. All right. Well, that's that's Kyrin's chasing the mountain. That is the one-handed handstand for a strong couple of seconds. So it's going to be good.
It's going to be so good.
Any other comments at all from the
we still need to build up the chat again. Build it up. Oh shit! I should have made that better looking. Whoops. Sorry, everyone on the live stream. No one's there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed listening to what I'm planning for the year. Once again, there's the mere mortals. Although we do like to chat, it's more about the action. So tune into the monthly goals for how we're actually going to put them together. Going to be doing this, like numbers on pieces of paper. Keeping ourselves accountable to what we did last month. That's the meat. This is the kind of the fun one, the larger scope, and then
which is great. It can be good when you get like, this is what I'm going to do and achieve.
Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
And then monthly goals is the how you actually.
Yeah. That's the more depressing one where it's like, fuck, I didn't do this. Fuck, I didn't do that.
Exactly. Good. All right. Well, again, we talked about it already in the Boostagram section, but if you do want to support us, yes, value for value enabled. So feel free to send through some Boostagrams. Keep on doing the streaming with Satoshis.
All of these things appearing on your app if you've got a decent podcast app. Newpodcastapps.com.
All right.
Fountain's a good one. Breeze is a good one.
Yep,
Podverse
exactly.
Is a good one.
Or if you want to go down the Dave Jones way and set up a ongoing weekly thing like a cron or something like that. Feel free to try and do that. I don't even know how to do that.
That's part of my goals.
Yeah, there you go.
Understand cron jobs.
God. All right, Immortal lads, that's it. One out.
Going out.
Good. Peace.
All right, thanks everyone.
Ciao.
I'm going to end the stream right now if anyone is there, and we'll be starting the new stream in probably about 5 minutes.
Good.